Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Neurodivergent Nat & Co, where I discuss everything autism, neurodiversity and chronic illnesses. In today's video I'm going to discuss my top 5 tips on how I manage my dysautonomia, which is my POTS. And for those who are new here, I also have degrees in psychology and autism studies. You can follow me on Facebook or visit my website, mandarinndcentre.com. If you like today's video or any other videos that I make, please, I'd love for you to subscribe and also give me a thumbs up. Okay, so let's get into today's topic. So, 5 tips on how I manage my dysautonomia or my POTS. So, for those of you who don't know what dysautonomia or POTS is, POTS stands for Postural Orthostatic Tachycardia syndrome. And there are different types of dysautonomia. So, dysautonomia basically just means the way that the body functions with the autonomic nervous system. So ours is basically just like a little skew-if. So the autonomic nervous system controls things like our breathing, our heart rate, our ability to sweat. With POTS, it affects my blood pressure. So that's the orthostatic part of it. Tachycardia, obviously to do with the heart. So tachycardia is the fast heart rate. I also get atrial fibrillation, which is where you might experience your heart skipping a beat, which can actually be pretty annoying, but also, you know, a little bit, I get a little bit of anxiety from it as well. And postural, obviously, when I am lying down, and then when I sit up or I stand, I might get a little bit of a drop in blood pressure, or my heart rate might increase. So that's a little bit about POTS. So 5 tips. Number 1, compression wear. So I've got some gloves if my hands are lacking in circulation. So I also experience Raynaud's as well. So Raynaud's is to do with circulation. So I've always had a lot of problems with my extremities. So my nose, my fingertips, my toes, like even now, my hand's like a little bit cold, but my body is actually feeling warm. So my heart's got to work a little bit fast to pump all that blood around my body. So these compression gloves, I found especially in winter, are really good. The brand is iMac, but if you search for compression gloves, you can get different types as well. I've also wear these compression socks. They are just a basic compression sock. I think I got them from a sports store. So they would have just a minimal compression. So compressions do come in ratings as well. This is just a basic one, but it's enough for me if I'm on my feet for a few hours. That will definitely help the circulation from my feet going back up to my heart. So yes, compression socks. And the other compression wear, recently I purchased these therapeutic gradient compression hosiery, so basically stockings. This is the first time I've worn stockings. Obviously, if I'm going out or if I'm presenting, can't really wear compression socks. Doesn't really go with the look of wearing a dress. So these are levels of compression. but it's enough for me just to help me if I'm going out for a few hours. Anything longer, I would have to incorporate some other strategies. So strategies like number 2, hydration, really, really important. A lot of the research and people's experiences with POTS do recommend drinking over 2 litres of water, even up to 3 litres. Water, obviously, our body has a high percentage of water, and we need the water. We need the water because it's going to help with our blood pressure, which is the orthostatic part. But I also drink, for example, I've got some coconut water here. This is just one of the brands, but I do like coconut water. It's actually got a lot of minerals. So for us potsies, we don't just need sodium, so it's not all about the salt, it's actually about getting these other minerals. So phosphorus, sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium. Coconut water has all of that. And I will have a glass or 2 every day, because if I'm just drinking water, water is good, but it's also going to dilute a lot of the salts in your body. So you may find you will need to add electrolytes. So the other form of electrolyte that I use are hydrolyte sports. You might have something similar where you live. Very similar to the coconut water, although it does have a little bit of glucose. So if I'm feeling a little bit washed out and tired, I'll definitely have one of these. So they come in tablet form, which is great if you're traveling as well. So this, for example, has 20 tablets. So, this will last me 20 days. Similar to coconut water, has other electrolytes apart from sodium, so potassium, magnesium, calcium. This also has a little bit of iron and zinc as well. So that's my other go-to. Number 3, so that's my other go-to. Number 3, salt capsules. I've only ever tried this once, I think, and I was like, wow, this is strong. I would only use the salt capsules if I was, if all I could drink was water and I was feeling quite dehydrated or washed out, I would probably have a salt capsule. So, for example, these ones here just says salt stick, buffered electrolyte salts. This does say that it has other electrolytes, potassium, calcium, magnesium, vitamin D. I just found that it was quite strong. So looking at it, it's got 20 grams of sodium per 100. So that means it's 20% sodium. So that would be another go-to, like I said, if I didn't have any hydrolyte sports or I didn't have any coconut water and I was drinking up to 3 litres a day, I might have a salt capsule as well. Hydrolyte sports or I didn't have any coconut water and I was drinking up to 3 litres a day, I might have a salt capsule as well. Number 4 on my tips of how I manage my dysautonomia and my POTS are vitamins. So I have talked a little bit about the electrolytes and the vitamins. I find magnesium is really good. So this is a magnesium that I've got here. So, it says supports muscle health, but it also helps with cramps and energy production. So I kind of feel like magnesium ties in really well with iron, which I take on a daily basis, or when I remember. Just not forgetting I have ADHD as well. So yes, magnesium actually really good for the cardiovascular system. So yes, I will take magnesium and tend to take that at night to help me sleep well. So yes, that was number 4, and number 5 is about pacing. So pacing myself, really important. The autistic brain in me, I love hyper-focusing on things, which means that I will often tune out to my body. And that can be an autistic trait, interoception. So the lack of our ability to kind of tune into our body and what we need. Are we thirsty? Are we hungry? So pacing is really important when you have POTS and dysautonomia, because if you don't pace, you're more likely to not be drinking enough water. Even if you've got your compression socks or compression stockings on, water plays a big part in being hydrated. So, but then, so does exercise. So pacing for me is about getting that daily rest and actually putting my feet up, which obviously is going to help with my blood pressure. But also it is important for me to exercise, and I tend to walk the dog. I'm getting back into walking the dog now since having COVID, so I will definitely make another video about that, my experiences of COVID and having dysautonomia. So yes, pacing, resting, mixing that in with doing some exercise that obviously is not going to aggravate your body. So I'm fortunate that I can go for walks or ride my bike, but then it will affect other things like my joint hypermobility. For example, so when I walk, I need to make sure that I am not over stretching, my legs, and really just being aware of my joints as well. If you cannot walk, I know that there is a lot of research that shows that the recumbent exercises, so lying down, you could find maybe lying down or being on your back and doing some gentle Pilates or stretches is really good. And you can also get the bikes as well that you can lie down on as well. So there are definitely ways that we can incorporate exercise into our lives, which obviously we know the research does show it is very good for our mental health and well-being. It's just that when you have other health conditions, so I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, the hypermobile type, as I just mentioned, it all plays in to, one thing can affect another. So yes, if I over-exercise too much, then that is going to affect my POTS, and then which may also trigger fibromyalgia. So yes, they are my 5 tips on how I manage my POTS dysautonomia. If you also have any tips that you would like to share, I'd love to read them in the comments below, so please make sure to comment or give this video a thumbs up. Yes, because for me, and I know for many other women especially, having POTS and being neurodivergent, autism, ADHD, it really does make you realise that you have to think about these conditions that you have. You cannot just go out and say you're going to go for a big bushwalk without doing some planning. And then again, that comes into my ADHD brain. So it's really about prioritising and making sure and pausing before you go and do these things. Like, yes, have I had enough water for the day? Have I had my magnesium, my iron tablets? Maybe even carrying around some compression socks in the car, having a spare set as well, because you never know when your blood pressure might drop. Like I've posted a video when I was in Bunnings, I wasn't feeling very good and had to lie down. So, take compression stockings, take your compression socks with you where you go. I think they're probably one of the most important things. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I will be writing these things down and making a PDF, so if you are interested, please comment below and I will happily send out a PDF so visually you have something that can remind yourself of tips and things that you can do maybe to help yourself manage your POTS. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching and have a nice day. Bye.